Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really trying to cut straight through the noise on a pretty messy topic for modern life. That whole frustrating, often exhausting link
Yeah.
between scrolling online and, actual political change.
Yeah, it's a big one. Our deep dive today is really built around the work of tech critic Catherine Cross, specifically her book Log Off. And our mission really is to unpack this idea. Is social media actually a useful tool for politics, for democracy? Or does its basic design work against building real communities? Does it just make us more cynical?
Okay, let's get into that, because Cross is definitely challenging a huge assumption here. And she's nuanced about it, right? She's not saying it's all bad, not pure evil or anything.
No, not at all.
But she is pushing back hard against this idea that technology just magically organizes us, or that it somehow removes the hard work involved in politics. She keeps reminding us that politics takes actual effort.
And the platforms make it super easy to feel like we've done the work when actually we haven't.
Right. We've been totally seduced by the numbers, haven't we? Likes, shares.
Absolutely. I mean, social media can be great. It's often funny, informative, connects people who are far apart. But we made this fundamental mistake. We started treating likes and shares and trending hashtags as if they were votes or reliable polling data or, real action.
And Cross argues that confusion has led us way off track.
Way off, woefully astray, as she puts it.
So, okay, if likes and shares aren't politics, then what actually is? Cross makes us step back and define it, not the cable news version, but something more basic.
Yeah, fundamentally, politics is about the debate, the negotiation over how power and resources get distributed in society. And that definition is broad. It covers the huge issues, sure, but it also scales right down to the super local stuff.
Like what?
Like, should the city build a new park? How often should the recycling get picked up? Even rules about pets in your apartment building. That's all politics.
That makes it sound very local. And very social. Definitely not something you do alone and staring at a screen.
Exactly. It's the opposite of a solo activity. Politics is always, always bigger than just one person. It means talking, negotiating, listening, working with neighbors, finding common ground.
And dealing with disagreements, right.
Definitely. Friction, compromise. It's that difficult, sometimes sweaty social effort. And you don't get a little reward notification for it like you do for a clever post online.
Okay, so if politics is that kind of face-to-face, sometimes difficult work, Cross drops this really radical idea that social media might actually be anti-political, which sounds completely backwards. How can this giant public forum obsessed with news and politics be anti-political?
Well, her argument, drawing a lot from Hannah Arendt, is that it kind of demobilizes us. It scatters the polity, the body politic. It actually makes it harder for us to gather in real places, talk things through, and make actual changes in our communities.
We get tricked into thinking we're doing political work.
When really, we're just taking part in a performance. Or maybe just consuming information.
But hang on, I got to push back a bit there. We've seen massive organizing online, haven't we?
Yeah.
Think about the Arab Spring or #MeToo. Didn't social media help bypass old gatekeepers?
Yeah.
Isn't there some democratizing power we're maybe overlooking?
Yeah, that's the real tension, and Cross definitely tackles it. The issue she suggests, drawing on Arendt, is the kind of unity we find online. Social media makes us feel like monadic individuals. We're all looking at the same shocking video, maybe, or the same outrageous headlines.
And we see our own feelings reflected back.
Right, our own private anger or anxiety. We feel connected because we're all reacting to the same thing on our screens, feeling the same outrage, perhaps.
We don't have the structure underneath.
See, exactly. We lack the real connections, the shared ideology, maybe agree upon leaders, actual meeting places to function as a proper group. It's more like an illusion of unity. And when that illusion fades, maybe the algorithm changes or attention shifts. The whole thing can just collapse. This lack of real structure, she argues, is a big reason why we see so much infighting and burnout in online activist spaces.
That makes sense. The burnout leads to disengagement. And if you think about our limited time and energy each day, spending hours arguing on Twitter, well, that becomes a zero-sum game, right?
Totally. That time is directly taken away from the kind of local, maybe less glamorous political work that actually involves talking to neighbors or building something tangible in the community.
And this displacement, you're saying, feeds into cynicism.
Yeah, and the platforms are almost perfectly designed to amplify that cynicism. They tend to highlight political failures, mistakes, or those kind of silly comments from politicians that just drive rage clicks and dunk posts.
And because it's always easier to tear something down than build it up.
Structurally, yes. Destruction is often faster, more viral.
Which explains why quiet, constructive successes just get ignored. Cross mentions the Biden administration stopping the drone war in Yemen. Obviously, before October 7th, 2023, that was a huge policy shift.
Massive.
But it didn't trend. It didn't catch fire online because it didn't fit the usual narrative of government failure or, cynical detachment. Building is slow, complex, destruction is fast, viral. The platforms ensure noise usually wins.
And that brings us right to the mechanism of destruction: online harassment. Cross offers a really useful framework here, defining 3 orders of harassment. She shows how social media's architecture is uniquely set up to enable this kind of abuse at scale.
Okay, let's spend a moment on these 3 orders, because that third one is really revealing about how the platforms work, isn't it?
It really is. So first order harassment is the extreme stuff that spills into the physical world.
Like doxing, death threats?
Exactly. Threatening someone's family, bomb threats called into work, even horrific things like dead animals left on a doorstep.
Yeah.
Criminal level stuff.
Okay. Then second order.
That's what most people think of as online harassment. Direct abuse. I mean, targeted messages sent right to the victim in their DMs, replies, mentions.
Right. And then the third order. This is Cross's key insight.
Yes. The third order is this indirect but massive layer of discourse about the target. This is the crucial bit. It creates the sort of moral substrate or the permission structure for the other kinds of abuse. It's the constant chatter that keeps the target in the spotlight, keeps them vulnerable.
And the terrifying part is, you said it's agnostic to intent.
Completely agnostic to intent.
Meaning, even if I share an article defending the person being harassed, or if I just try to have a neutral, thoughtful discussion about what's happening, I'm still adding fuel to the fire.
You are. You're keeping that person the target right in the middle of the storm. You're contributing to the overall noise, the traffic, making them more visible, more findable for the first and second order harassers. You become part of the machinery, even with the best intentions.
Wow. Okay. There are 2 really vivid examples in the source material that make this third order thing painfully clear. The first is the Chile woman incident.
Right. This started so innocently. A woman posted, just trying to be kind, that she was making chili for her quiet college neighbors because she noticed they ate pizza constantly. A simple act of, community kindness.
And it just exploded.
Instantly metastasized. It turned into this huge, bitter online war about everything: sexism, class, white privilege, boundaries.
And the debate got so huge, the third order effect was so strong that the Washington Post ended up running a lifestyle piece debating the ethics of making food for your neighbors. It didn't matter what the Post said, really. The point is the woman stayed in the spotlight because everyone kept talking about her chili.
The second example, maybe even more disturbing, is the couch guy on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
It was just this short, ambiguous video. A guy looks maybe a bit awkward or surprised when his girlfriend shows up unexpectedly while he's on a couch with friends. That's it.
And the internet just went wild. Accusations of cheating, theories he was a serial killer, obsessive analysis of his body language.
Yeah, life-ruining levels of discourse, all from a few seconds of video. And it only kept going because the third order, the endless remixes, reaction videos, articles, debates, kept him pinned as the main character. The attention itself was the weapon.
So these examples show it's not just about individuals choosing to be mean online.
Exactly. That's why we need to shift from blaming individuals. The problem isn't just bad apples, it's structural. It's the design of the orchard, so to speak.
That's the crucial shift then, moving from you're choosing to rot your brain to looking at the structure, the design, which brings us to this key concept, affordances.
Right, affordances. It's a term from design theory. It refers to the features of an object that suggest how you're supposed to use it. They're powerful because they guide our behavior, often without us even thinking about it.
Like the classic example of a door, right? A flat plate affords pushing, a handle affords pulling. The design tells you what to do.
Exactly. Now, scale that idea up to social media. The platform's design, the algorithms, the buttons, the way information is displayed, it all affords certain behaviors and discourages others.
It incentivizes certain actions.
Precisely. Cross uses the analogy of road design. Think about raised crosswalks like they have in the Netherlands. They physically make cars slow down.
Right, you have to slow down or wreck your car.
So traffic fatalities go down, not because Dutch drivers are morally superior, but because the physical design, the structure changes behavior.
So the algorithms and the user interface on platforms are like our digital road design.
That's a great way to put it. Think about link previews. The design makes it easy to just scroll past the actual article and react only to the headline.
Which means clickbait headlines win.
Absolutely. It basically guarantees that provocative, often misleading headlines will dominate. If you design a system where outrage gets rewarded with attention, well, you're going to get a lot of outrage. Trying to resist that pressure as an individual is incredibly hard. We all want to join in, be seen, maybe even have fun.
So real change has to come from changing the platform structure, the underlying design, not just telling users, be nicer.
That's the core argument, shifting the affordances.
Okay, but we have to tackle the big counter-argument here. The idea that social media is vital, even necessary, for marginalized people. Like, say, a young trans person living in a small, maybe hostile town who finds their only community online. Cross acknowledges this, right? She's not saying just ban it all.
No, she definitely gets that. There's no magic wand. She recognizes that for many, social media is that first essential point of contact.
So what's the practical advice then?
Her advice is pretty clear. Use it to meet people, find those initial connections, but then crucially, move the real community building, the deeper conversations, somewhere else.
Somewhere more private, more controlled.
Exactly. Find your actual people, your trusted group, and then take those vital interactions to a space like an encrypted Signal chat or a private Discord server, somewhere you have more control.
So treat social media like an index or maybe a phone book, a place to find contacts.
But don't mistake it for the community center itself, because that public square always carries that huge structural risk if things go sideways.
Okay. And what about for people who see themselves as activists using these platforms? How should they engage responsibly?
Well, Cross argues for intense clarity. Before you post about some complex issue, you need solid answers to some key questions. What am I actually doing here? How does this tweet or post connect to a real, tangible movement or effort? What's the specific, achievable goal? Vague stuff, like just raising awareness, isn't enough.
And is social media even the best tool for this specific goal?
Right. Sometimes it is, sometimes it absolutely isn't. We saw a good example of focused success with Fane Greenwood's fundraiser for a Palestinian family. They raised around $50,000 Canadian. Why? Because the goal was specific, narrow, achievable, and vetted. That's using the platform's reach effectively for a clear transactional purpose.
Like using the index function properly.
Exactly. And we also need to recognize the limits of the medium itself. Social media is like uniquely terrible at letting people say, I don't know enough about this yet. I need to read more.
It pressures you to have a hot take immediately.
Structurally, yes. That pressure for instant certainty is why deeper engagement, reading long articles, writing thoughtful pieces, having extended conversations is almost always more productive. Short summaries can feel, as Cross puts it, flattening and exploitative.
And maybe the biggest irony of all, Cross points out that vulnerability, kindness, the things that build real connection and solidarity face-to-face.
Those very qualities become huge liabilities online.
Like the Chile woman found out. The structures of the platforms turn essential human connection tools into risks for terrible abuse.
Yeah, the ingredients for real politics dealing with complexity, showing vulnerability, building social bonds, they become attack vectors within the platform's design.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the core lesson for you, the listener, seems to be social media is a tool. It has limits.
Yeah.
It can work as an index, a way to find people, or maybe to fundraise for very specific, immediate needs.
But it just cannot replace the slow, messy, day-to-day social work that's needed to build real community and achieve actual political power. The likes and shares aren't the metrics that truly count in the world.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
Yeah, when we look at really big, terrible, global issues, war crimes, children suffering, mass atrocities, the morality often feels quite clear, quite straightforward. It's easy to feel outraged, and maybe that's right.
But that moral clarity is the easy part.
That's the easy part. The hard part, the actual work of politics, is figuring out, okay, what do we do next? How do we actually change the circumstances, the structures that allow these immoral things to happen?
And that takes collective effort.
Collective effort, complex thinking, difficult negotiation, things that just can't be boiled down to a viral post or an angry comment thread. You have a responsibility here because these big decisions are often made in your name, with your tax money. And you're probably not going to achieve the fullest bloom of citizenship, as Cross might say, just by arguing with strangers online.